we'll just have a quick look what we have discussed yesterday. So we have discussed about the SAP MM. It is a part of a ERP. So SAP ERP is an enterprise resource planning. So this is a commercial software that will integrate all the information all together in a single software. We are having different modules. We just connect all those modules. So this is a one software having different modules. So consider as a single software that will handle the complete enterprises, and it will save the time and the cost of the organization. An organization can easily meet their business demand with the help of the SAP. Now, what SAP has does, whatever the business processes that does every organization is having, SAP divides those business processes in the form of a module. Particular business process, SAP designed one module. We are going to discuss here is material management module, SAP material management. So for every specific task, for every business process, SAP has designed a separate module. So that's why if you come across the SAP, you will find that on a yearly basis, you will find a new modules may come up. Suppose a new industry gets generated and new business got generated, new business process gets generated. Now we are working on the artificial intelligence. Bot are working in most of the companies. Artificial bots, robots are working. So in that case, a new process gets generated in the organization. So SAP will develop a new module for that. So these modules are nothing. This specifies the separate business processes that an organization is having. So it is a part of the logistic area that helps to manage the procurement activity of an organization. So this is an important task of the material management. As we have discussed, it is a part of the logistic, and main task is to procurement. Supports all the aspects of the material management, planning and control. So what are the features of SAP MM? It is one of the modules that deals with material management and inventory management. Basically two things that we deal in the SAP MM, material management and the inventory management. So what is material management? We have to just ensure that there is never a shortage of material in the supply chain process. So this is a material management. So as a MM module guy, in an organization, we have to ensure that the production will not get affected due to the low inventory. So this is the main task. In if the machinery get stops due to bad super planning, due to bad material management, so it will definitely, the boss will fire you, boss will give a heat on you, kind of. So material management, this is a very important thing. Inventory management also very important. Production should not affect, supply chain process should run in smooth. Demand and supply you have to manage. So it deals with managing the materials, product and services resource of an organization with the aim of accelerating productivity, reducing costs and increasing improvement. So if an organization hires you as a SAP MM module consultant, so definitely that organization should get something in return. So what are the benefits of implementing SAP MM, and why an organization hires a talented technical person at a higher pay to manage those modules? Why? Because if they implement SAP MM and they hire a guy who has a knowledge of implementing SAP MM module, so with the help of that, organization can save. It means the savings will be high, costing will be low, improvement will be high, productivity will be high, efficiency will be high. So these are some of the various advantages that an organization is having. That's why they implement SAP module and they hire those people. It deals with procurement process, master data, material and vendor master, account determination, valuation, inventory management, invoice verification, material requirement planning. So this is a brief of the SAP MM module which we all have discussed yesterday. So I'll start with the screens. Yesterday I told you that I'll show you the screens. So I'll show you step by step. So today I'll start with the basic, how you have to log in screen, log out, and what are the basic screens. Okay, basic knowledge of screens. Here it is, log in, log out, how you have to log in, how SAP looks like. So once you log in, once you there is one small icon on the desktop, that is the SAP icon. Just like we are having Google Chrome, Mozilla, like that, we are having one icon over the desktop. When you click on that, that login screen will get opened. So this is the login screen. In this you have to enter the client, user and the password. So user and password, you might know that it's a common thing, just like we are having Gmail user ID and the Gmail password. Now what is client? You can say these are different clients system is having. So what SAP has does, SAP provides a different clients you are running. Suppose there are 3 to 4 clients every organization is having. One is the developer client, one is the production client, another is the quality client. So these clients are the, we can say, different phases of the SAP. Whatever the data is there, different phases of the data are there in the clients. So we have to mention the client. So it will be 100, 200, 400, 600, 800, 700, like this. Generally the clients are like this. So first we have to enter the client, then you have to enter the username and then password and then enter. Okay, any issue here? Are you clear about the client?
So what is this type of what is the type of window? We call it as SAP ERP servers or what it is? Whole
Yeah, this is SAP
program.
ECC server. This, yeah, this is SAP ECC server. ERP software
EC.
ECC server.
Okay, right. So like we name like Excel as a window, so we just call this as
Yeah, yeah,
ECC.
similar way. Are you clear about the client username and password? I think it's quite clear from the, it's
Yeah,
quite logical.
I mean that
Are you
that
clear
company
about the
provides
client?
you with the username and password, right?
Yeah,
It
yeah,
comes when the
company will
software
provide
is
you that.
launched. On,
Yeah, username and password is quite slow. Means this is quite logical. What I'm trying to say, are you clear about the client? That what does the client mean?
no, no, no. Can you just repeat that thing again?
Better I'll explain you with an example. So let us consider an example. In an organization, a new trainee come up and they just want to work on the SAP MM. Okay, so what will happen from the first day? Will the organization provide you the access of the master data or the production data? A new guy, a new trainee, organization provide an access
Hmm.
to the complete data, complete master data, complete production data? No, it will not. Definitely it will not. So clients are, we can say, different phases of the SAP that an organization maintains. So if I talk about the 800 client, let us take an example. 800 is the production client. Production is the final client. Whatever day-to-day transactions happens in an organization, that will happen in the production. Okay, so 800 is the production client. Now a new trainee comes up and he will be on a training of 2 months. Let us consider an example. A new trainee joins an organization and he will be on training for 2 months in the organization. So for those 2 months, will that trainee work on the SAP? Yes, he will work on SAP, but he will not work on 800 client. What organization will does? They will provide a username and password for 100 client. So 100 is the test client, we can say. So when a user log in with the 100 client, so whatever changes it will do, whatever the master data he will create, whatever the transaction data he will create, whatever the vendor master data, that will remain in that client only. That will not go to the production client. Production client is the final version, means it is the current, active, final, whatever you say. This is the normal version, day-to-day version. But for practice, we are having a separate client, 100 client. On that we can practice anything. You can delete any vendor data, you can delete any master data, you can create any vendor data, you can create any master data, you can do anything. Okay, so this is for the practice purpose, 100 client. Now if I,
So,
let
so,
us talk about the 200 client.
so the company will be selecting this 100 clients. I mean, probably they don't have any
Yeah, yeah,
business
yeah,
with.
yeah. They will definitely work on the final client. So the 800, 500, 400. So what I'm trying to say, client represents the system. Production system means the current running active system. Yeah, you should be cautious while dealing with the master data, transaction data. So while dealing with the production client, okay, so this is the production client. For a new trainee, I, as an organization, I'll not give my final production client to the new trainee. So first I'll create a client of 100. I'll just copy all the data from 800 to 100 client. So whatever things are there on the 800 client, as of today, it will be remaining, it will be remain there in the 100 client. But after 10 days, the client data will change, but not 100 change. Only when a new trainee will play with that client. Another example, suppose I create a client of 400, that is for the quality check. In the sense, now let's talk about the bigger organization that is having vendor data of billions of records of vendor data, billions of record of master data. So will I copy all the billion of records in the 100 client? No, I'll copy only the 10 or 20 records of the 800 client to the test client for the testing, the learning purpose, to save the space of the database. Are you getting my point?
So, what kind of development they are going to go? I mean,
What
so
I'm trying to
because
say, before AI, suppose, let us suppose organization has 50 people. After AI, they can still work with the 10 people. Now
Mhm.
they don't need the 50 brains. They can work with the 10
50.
brains only.
Oh, so what I'm trying to say
So
is that
they will.
agar AI.
So this is the toolbar. So once you enter your user ID and password, this screen will get opened. So here at the top we are having menu bar. After that we are having the command field, and besides the command field we are having the standard toolbar. Below that we are having title bar, and after that we are having the application toolbar. So the most important is the command field. Command field is the area where we write our code, where we write our transaction code and press enter, and then the console screen will get open. We are having favorites, SAP menu, office, cross application components, collaboration projects, logistics, accounting, human resources, information system, and tools. 1 minute, I'll scroll down. See here. Let us take an example of this figure. See, suppose I have to edit any of the company code. First, I have to click on the SAP customizing implementation guide. Then sub-components get opened. In the custom configuration, activate business function, SAP NetWeaver, enterprise section. So then I click on the enterprise section. Again, sub-components get opened. Inside that, we have to click on definitions. Again, sub-components get opened. Then financial accounting. And then I reach to a point where I have to click and do the editing of my company code. So for one time it's normal, that's not an issue, but on a daily basis it's a very hectic process that you have to again come down to this location, and if you want to use another transaction, again you have to just close this and open another tree. So this is very troublesome. For that, SAP has recommended certain transactions. So for that, let us suppose you have created one transaction XY01. So SAP has stored, if you write over here in the command line XY01 and press enter, so then this will get opened. This screen will get opened, which will get opened if you click on click. So instead of clicking and opening sub components and create a hierarchy, we simply write that T code in the command line and press enter. Okay, so this is the command field. This is the area where we write the transaction codes and press enter. Then the concerned screen get open. So this is our menu bar. We are having different options inside menu, edit, favorites, extras, systems, help. Just like we are having different options inside the Excel. Similar way, we are having the different options inside that. This is a standard toolbar. There are some buttons over here: save button, back button, up button, cancel button, search button. So there are so many buttons. Title bar is the name of the screen. It will show you the name of the screen. So this is a first screen, SAP easy access. Once you click on the vendor master data, so when you enter the T code, transaction code in the command line and press enter, so then title bar will change. It will show the vendor master data. So this title bar will show depict the screen name, that which screen gets open. Next is the application toolbar. It is also having other functions, mostly uncommonly used. This is on the first screen itself, not on the others. So the three menu bar, standard bar, and the title bar, and the command line. Most important is the command line. And as an SAP you are learning, you should be aware of some of the standard transactions that SAP has provided for the material management. I'll show you that what are the standard transactions. Go to this page and try to understand what is there on the screen.
So do we have to look at human resources and all that option? I mean, is this for the HR people itself, or what is this? Over here, SAP menu, it's all given over here. The structure में नीचे दिया है sir. No, in the menu bar itself. Yeah, over
In
here.
the menu bar, yes.
Yeah, accounting, and then human resources, and then you have information systems. I don't know.
Okay, here accounting, human resources, information
Yeah,
system tools. Yeah,
infrastructure. Yeah.
yes.
What is this human resources? I mean, just like
Human resource. This is a see, for an organization we are having an employees. To manage those employees, we are having a separate module, HR module.
okay, so this is just for HR people itself.
Yeah. This is not relevant for you. Logis
Yeah.
accounting. This is relevant to FICO people.
Yeah, no, accounting itself, I think it can be relevant to us, but information
No,
systems,
it is
tools.
tools. There are general settings inside the tools which anyone can access. So this is a kind of a business processes, we can say.
Okay, yes, sir.
Okay, so menu bar, this is the top line of the dialog window in the SAP system. Standard toolbar, we are having save, top of the page, end of the page, page up, page down, print. These are available in the standard toolbar. Title bar, it displays the name of the application or the business process. Whatever the business process you have opened, it will show you the name of that. Application toolbar, whatever the specific menu options are available, that will be available at the application specific toolbar. Now this is a command field to start a business application without navigating. This is important. This is the thing I already mentioned to you. Just try to understand this thing. To start any of the business process without navigating through the menu sections. These are the menus on the first page. So if you don't want to navigate through the menu, you just don't want to click and scroll down to the sub components, and you just simply want to open that page, then some standard codes, logical codes, some standard codes has been provided by the SAP, which we call as a transaction codes, and transaction
So these
codes we
are
have to
like
write it in the command.
yeah, shortcut keys itself. I mean, like what we use in
Yeah,
the Excel.
kind of a shortcut keys, correct. But in the terms of SAP, we call them as transactions. In a short, we call as T codes. So T codes are entered in the command field to directly start the application. These are some standard buttons: back button, cancel button, exit button. These are the most commonly used buttons. Apart from the command field button, which is most commonly used, are these three buttons. And the most frequently used is the back button.
So this window is like the latest version right now, or it's just like pretty old?
No, this is the latest version. This is
Yeah,
ECC,
because
SAP
now,
ECC 6.0.
yeah. So it's like what is the model? It's 2023 or 22, what it is? And
It's not about the model. See, SAP has not rolled out every model each year. So
I
it's
mean,
not like
they
that.
don't roll. Okay,
SAP,
they don't do that. But there's the latest version itself.
yeah, latest version is SAP ECC 6.0. This is the latest
Six.
version 6.0.
Okay, right. Okay. So because why I'm
And
saying is that this
meanwhile, you do
log off key should be somewhere else, and yeah, they have put the
meanwhile
icon.
do one thing. Yeah, for your sake, meanwhile do one thing. Just ask ma'am that provide me an access to SAP logon.
So actually,
आप
ma'am
एक
has
SAP
given me
logon का
some
access दे दो.
credentials. She has actually submitted some kind of credentials, but I'm trying to click on the link. I'm not getting.
Uh,
She has.
you have to go on run, type
Yeah,
MMTC, and then you
I
have
have
to.
the IP address. I'm trying to click on the IP address. It goes into this warning site or something like. So I don't know what's happening.
Do you have the IP address over there or not?
So can you send me your mail ID? Because the thing is that I'm not able to, share it via WhatsApp. I'm in Windows right now. Yeah, so I'll just forward it to you right now. Actually, I do have a server IP is given, and the username is multi.com and password is also shared. I mean, it's my name at the rate 123. And actually, there are two sets of password. One is SAP login, and the others is other this
Yeah,
SAP
there
class.
will be two sets of password.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So that's the reason I'll just send it to you. I'm trying to click over here.
When we click over here, 800 system, this is a client, this is a user, this is a program, this is a transaction, this is response time. So these are some of the information that is available over here. Okay, so some of the T codes, that is SE11. If I write SE11 and press enter, so what will open? ABAP dictionary will get open. Whatever the tables are there, that you can have. So if I click on this back button, I'll come on the main screen. And if I click over here, so do you want to log off? So it will give you log off. So this is a kind of a scheme. We are having different menu, SAP menu, visit, something like that. We are having different things over here. So main thing is the command line. This is the most important in the SAP. These three buttons: back button, log off button, and the cancel button. So these three buttons are very important. So this is a complete very important pane in the complete slides. So this is the standard exit keys. Okay, now this is a new session icon for creating a new session, just like that. So this is a main screen. Suppose I have opened SC11. So I have opened, let us suppose KNE1 table. I have opened this table. I have, this is customer master data. I have opened. This is a KNE1 table. I have opened. Now what I want, similar,
What
I
is
just
this?
want to open a new tab.
So display table, I
Sorry,
mean, can you explain that? And
I'll go back. I'll just enter
yeah,
SE11.
okay.
I press enter. So
Hmm.
this will open. This is a standard table that has been provided by the SAP KNA1. I click on the display. So this table get opened. Now, just like in Chrome, we are having different
So,
tabs, right? So I can
yeah,
check.
uh,
Yeah,
so this SE11 and all that, these are like standard codes given by the SAP, I mean, software side.
yeah. This is a standard table.
Okay, this is
Okay.
not an organization. They didn't create and give it to you.
There is no need for
Oh,
an organization to define these T codes. There
oh.
are so many things that has been provided by the SAP itself. So this is a standard one. Okay. So just like we are having different tabs in the Google Chrome or the Opera or whatever the Mozilla you are using. So similar way, instead of a tab, we can have a different session. Create new session and generate a shortcut. So I'll create a new session. So when I click over here, a new page get open. Now we are having two sessions get opened. One is this one in which table is getting displayed. Another one is this session. So I can enter any other T code, let us say SE80. I'll press enter. If I have workbench, development workbench will get opened. So in this way, we can have maximum up to 6 sessions. It's not like that we can create unlimited number of sessions. We can create maximum 6 sessions. So this is the one, and this is the another session. If I want to create another one, simply click it over here, create another session. It will get open. So now we are having 3 sessions. So maximum we can have only 6. So this is for create new session and generate a shortcut. Now log off, as I already mentioned that there are some buttons over here.
So create,
Uh,
can you just repeat create new
if
session,
I
sir? I mean, what table you showed me?
So generally we open a new tab. So similar
Yeah.
way, there is no concept of tabs in SAP, but there is a concept of sessions. It's like a tab. We switch on from one tab to another tab. It will work like
So
that, but we call them as sessions.
can you just click on that and show me create new session?
Okay, I'll just click a new session get open. Now we are having here four sessions. One is for SE11, another is for SE80, and these two are the blank.
And
New
maximum
sessions.
so
Blank means the
six
home page.
six can
Six,
open.
six. Maximum number of sessions reached.
Reach.
So how many count? One, two, three, four, five, six. If six sessions get opened and you click on create new session, an error information message will come. Maximum number of sessions reached. So in that case, you have to close any of those sessions. You have to close unnecessary sessions which is get opened, and then click on new session. It will generate open a new session. Okay, now I to just go back. I can go back, I can exit, and can cancel. If I click on the cancel, it will direct me to the home page. But if I click on the back button, it will navigate me to the previous history. So these are some of the things you will understand when you do some of the practical. So these are some of the buttons. So this class I have taken to have a look, to have a feel of SAP, that how SAP looks like. So this is are the buttons. So if the button you don't want to work, there is also system log off. So if I click on log off, yes, I want to log off. So every sessions will get opened, and again you have to log in. So again I have to write the username, password.
So do we have attempts to like put password in this also? Security के वजह
Yes,
से.
yes, yes. After a
Then
certain number of attempts, your account will get locked. Then you have to contact your administrator to unlock your account. It's not like that you can continue multiple number of times. So this is a log off. So tomorrow, from tomorrow, I'll start the procurement process. So it is start from the vendor master. So it's nothing. It contains a list of vendors from which a company can procure or can sell. My screen is visible to you, right? Right. So the T code for that is
yes, yes,
XK01.
sir, it's visible.
So here we have to fill all the mandatory details, that is a company code, purchase or vendor number, address, street name, postal code, country, then click on the save. Now we are having the purchase info record. Okay, so SAP works on real-time data that include material master and vendor master. Till now we have discussed about material master and the vendor master. So these are separate data records for keeping information for the materials and for the vendors from which material is procured. Okay, but purchasing info record, it is store information on the material and vendor supplying that material.
So can you tell me what is this SAP R by 3? What does that mean?
Okay, yeah, sorry. So SAP R by 3, it is nothing. We are having a three layers architecture in the SAP. That is having the presentation layer, application layer, and the database layer. So this is nothing but SAP R by 3, three layer architecture, we can say. So we are having the database layer where the data resides. I'll just show you one screen. Okay, so this is a R by 3 architecture, what I'm talking about. So we are having a presentation layer, application layer, the database layer. So database layer is nothing but the area or the physical storage of data. Data actually resides in the database layer. What is presentation layer? Whatever the output we are having, that is on the screen, that is based on the user needs, that user is going to see the output, that is at the presentation layer. But what
So
is
database
application
is
layer? So application, the
so,
task of,
so database is our physical server. I mean, every servers
yeah,
really use
database
it.
layer is the physical server, we can say. Presentation,
Yeah.
we can have the monitor or the TV or the system where you just want to display the records, display the information, anything. So the main task is of the application layer. Application layer, what does it do? It just fetches the relevant data from the database and do some calculation, manipulation, changes, whatever you, as per your needs. It will do all these things and make it compatible so that it can be presented on the presentation layer. We can't present the data that is stored in the form in the database layer directly to the presentation layer, right? So we have to first fetch the data from the database layer, make it presentable, or do some calculation, processing, whatever it's taken, and then we can move it to the presentation layer. So this is nothing but a SAP R by 3 architecture. Okay, so purchase info record, it can be maintained at a plant level or at purchase organization level. So the main most important T code, just remember these things, that is ME11 we are having. Logistics, master data, info record, click on create, enter the vendor number, info category, select standard or subcontracted, pipeline, consignment. So these are the category we are having. Provide all the details, click on save. Now what is source determination or list? See, whatever the combined information of the material and the vendor all together, so that becomes a part of a purchase info record. Whatever the, from where we are going to purchase, what we are going to purchase, at what value, what is the address, country, pin code, each and everything what we are having there, is at the purchase info record. Okay, but a particular material can be ordered from different vendors from different countries in a different region in different span of time. So this information, it can be maintained in a list that is called a source list. So that particular diary is a source list. So that information we called is at a source list. So it include list of all possible sources of supply for a material over a given framework of time. Given framework of time means whatever. So these all things are interconnected. I think it's easy to understand by this way. So it specifies the time period. Okay, that's pretty obvious. So this is the T code MM02. Remember this T code, creation of source list.
The source list is not that protected, right? I mean, source list, if you can copy and paste, so anyone can see that. Source list is not like this. What was that? A transaction and no master data and transaction data. So source list will come under transaction itself, right? If there is any
Yeah, we can
differentiation,
say that.
if you
Uh,
can copy paste and all that can be done in that, so it can be easily tampered with.
No, no. There are two things. We are having the vendor master data separate and the
Yeah.
material
Okay.
master data is separate. Combining both
Separate.
of them, we are having the purchase info record, right? Now
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
are having the source list that is entirely different. That is having a list
Hmm.
of all possible scenarios, all the possible sources of supply we are having. So that is, we can't relate it to the vendor master data. That is
Okay.
entirely different. So we are having the ME01 to maintain that. We have to fill all the necessary details. What the same company code, organization, purchase, or this is all the things. So now this is again an important one, procurement cycle. How procurement cycle flow. We have already discussed, but here we are just revision of things. First, important steps. These are the most important steps that we have already discussed in the procurement cycle. First, you have to determine your requirement. What is your requirement? Whether you need 100 bags, 10,000, 20,000, 1 lakh. So first you have to determine your requirement. Then you select the vendors from which you are going to purchase those things. Once that thing is, then negotiation will come in the picture. Once everything will get finalized, you create a purchase order. So once purchase order gets generated, then goods from that vendor will receive to the gate of your organization. There the guys will check and validate the goods as per the purchase order. Once everything is fine, then they post GR. GR is nothing but goods receipt. This is a certificate from those guys that whatever the purchase order we have generated to that particular vendor, that vendor has successfully and in an efficient way or to the standards they have delivered all the goods, and we are certified that these goods are in perfect condition as per our expectation. So once GR is done, then automatically an invoice goes generated and forwarded to the FICO department. So this is a very long process, but in a nutshell, we are having the four important steps: determination of requirement, creating purchase order, posting GR, posting invoice. So first is determination of the requirement, quite obvious. So I just don't go very deeper into that because this is a very small one, but I already explained you all these things. Remember this T code ME21 and most frequently used T code. This is for creating a purchase order. Remember, this is most commonly used cheat code ME21N. This is for creating a purchase order. Very important T code because whenever this is a complete cycle, whether it is an SG, whether it is an MM, everything is related to the purchase order. This is a unique number identifier which is used to track during its complete flow of cycle. That's why this C code is most frequently used, because if you
Oh,
have to
so
check the status of any,
so during the exam, they can ask this T codes, right? I mean, probably,
yeah, they can ask.
they can ask the T codes.
Exams
So
of
this is
what? I didn't get it.
no, this MM, sir. The certification for this exam and
Are
all
you
you have to
planning to
give.
do certification on that?
Yeah, yes, sir. For
Okay,
that.
you are planning to do certification. Yeah, definitely they
Yeah,
will ask. Definitely they will ask.
they'll ask. Okay, right, sir. Great. So
100%. And this
because
is a very important
without
E
certi
code. AMI 21, and this is
yeah, okay, because without
yes.
certification, I can't move forward, sir. I have to take a
No,
certification for
no,
that.
no, that is not a mandatory thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
certification is not a
exactly.
mandatory. There are lot of people. It is not a mandatory one. You can proceed with that also
No,
without certification. What I feel is that
absolutely,
is an added
absolutely.
advantage, but we
No,
can't say
because
that without certification you can't.
no, because you're mentioning T codes, right? So I thought that it has to be very important. They can ask what is.
No, no, these really are very important. That's why I'm
Okay.
highlighting this. T codes are very, very important. And ME21, and I should say this is the crux of all T codes. Most commonly used T codes.
Vendor supply this thing, right? ME21.
No, no, AMI 21 hand. is to create a purchase order.
Purchase order. Okay.
Yeah.
Create a purchase order. Okay, right.
See here, this
Yeah,
is
yeah.
create
There's a
purchase
drop-down
order.
menu.
We have to
Yeah, yeah.
you have to fill in all necessary details like name of vendor, purchase or purchase group, company code, details, everything we have to enter over here. So this is a very important thing. Now posting GR, as I already told you, what is there in the GR, how GR get posted, when the goods are checked and found that the goods are received as per the as per the purchase order you have, then only GR will get activated. So good receipt, this is a phase in which material is received by the ordering party and the condition and qualities are verified. Once material is verified against quality, then GR is posted. Just read this highlighted one, then you will came to understand what I was trying to say. Means the verification at the gate itself, because you are going to procure materials from the vendor, and once you have to verify that whether whatever you have ordered for what you are going to pay for, you are received in a intact condition or not, in a good condition or not. This is again a very important thing, and the T code is MIGO for doing that. This is for the goods movement. So again we have to fill all the, so here we have to just remember the basic functionality of that. So what is there, what is the process inside this, so we have to understand this, we have to learn this. And the most important, the T code, rest with the things remain same more or less. We have to fill all the relevant details, what is the company code, what is the purchase organization, plant details, vendor details, material master data. So these are all the basic details. Dates also, creation date, alteration date, so to create a log. So this is the normal things. Now posting invoice, very important, T code Miro. Migo, just remember Migo and Miro. There are two T codes. Migo is for goods movement, for GR. For posting invoice, we are having Miro. So purchase acquisition. So purchase acquisition is nothing but the requirements. How you gather the requirements. What are your requirements? That is purchase acquisition. So in an organization, let us take an example of a stationery. So in an organization, you need 100 pans and 200 rough pads. How will you requisite, how will you came to a point that I have to procure 100 pans and 200 markers? So how? So you have to create a purchase requisition. You just send a mail to all of the department and check their demand. That say, let us say FICO department says I need 20 markers and 10 pens. So at the last we have to create a purchase requisition. So once all the requirements are gathered, we need to inform the purchase organization who is going to purchase on the behalf. So it is a document that contains the list of requirements. So it is nothing, it is a document that contain a list of the requirements, what the requirements you are having. So it is a request that is made to the purchase organization to procure these materials. So it is an internal document. Obviously this is an internal document, this is non-legal document, non-binding document, needs approval. So these are basic things. So what we can have, for what we can have the purchase acquisition for different procurement types. If it is standard procurement, subcontracting procurement, consignment, stock transfer, external. So these are the different types for which we can create the purchase acquisition. Very important decode again, ME51N, to create a purchase acquisition. That's why in the starting itself I just told you the complete flow, so that now it is easy for you to understand the things. You might feel that it is a simple thing, or you might relate by this. That's why in the starting I just told you the complete flow in and out, so that it will not be a bother to you each and every slide. So after creating purchase acquisition, we need to send our requirement to the vendor to procure those material. I already mentioned ME21, and for creating a purchase order for the purchase acquisition. So what is RFQ? What is RFQ?
So
Request for quotation.
request for quotation,
So
like
one,
it doesn't. You can, so request for quotation is like an external thing, right? Because quotation is like bargaining particular product.
no, quotation is not like bargaining. No. Don't get confused. So once you have finalized the purchase acquisition, so purchase acquisition, this is a document. You are having a list that I have to buy these I have to buy 100 pens and 200 markers. So you have finalized this. Now what the purchase organization will do? This is a task of the purchase organization. This is the not a task of the SD department, not a task of the department. So this is the task of the purchase organization. So what purchase organization will do, can you tell me? So purchase organization will not go directly to the shop and purchase 100 pen and the 200 marker. No, he will request for a quotation. He will just give an advertisement, or anyhow he will just request for quotation from different vendors in the sense different shops or different organization, different client, whatever the service providers, whatever, they just roll out the request for quotation. So in that 10 or 20 people will come up and say that yeah, I can give you this pen at a cost of 20 rupees per pen. Someone come up and say yeah, I can give it for 18 rupees. Someone can come, yeah, I can give it for 50. So request for quotation is nothing. This is an advertisement. This is a rollout phase by the purchase organization where they are demanding, where they are accepting the prices. They are demanding the prices from the different vendors, that what are the lower prices. Suppose let us say I received the lowest price of 50. Then I call up that guy and call in my organization and just ask them that in a year I'll purchase 10,000 pens. This is a requirement as of now for 100 pens, but in a year I'll purchase 10,000. So again, I have to get a reduced price, not 50, purchase in 10. So this is negotiation. So after finalization of the request for quotations, then negotiation part will come into picture. So request for quotation is for vendor selection. This is a very important process. Vendor selection. How will you select that from which vendor you have to procure the material? So you have to check the vendor who can fulfill this thing, fulfill your requirements at the best possible price.
So the company can also look at the master data, right? I mean, what kind of a vendor they had before. I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
that's right. Otherwise, they can even send a tender from outside. That this is what they require. They can advertise kind of a
yeah,
tender.
most of the cases they will float a tender. Most of the
Tender.
cases the tender will be invited, but for private company they just some of the times. So what I believe is that what most companies work in that way, there is some threshold value. Let us say they have set a limit of 50,000, so up to 50,000 we can purchase via RFQ. That you can roll out the quotation, different vendors will come up and you can just purchase up to 50,000. If the amount is greater than 50,000, you have to invite an online tender. So this is how an organization works. So this totally depends on the type of the organization, level of the organization, owner discretionary power. Owner come up and say that no, up to 2 lakhs. So up to 2 lakhs we can purchase, we can procure via RFQ. Above 2 lakhs we have to go with the tender. So this depends. So there is no hard and fast rule. So it depends on the will of the owner. So what's the T code for this? AMI 41. Again, we have to provide the same details. So this is automatic creation of RFQ. So once you have created a purchase acquisition in the SAP system, so from the purchase acquisition itself, you can directly create an RFQ. This is automatic creation. So reference to purchase acquisition. So inside this T code, create RFQ, there is a reference. We can provide a reference of purchase acquisition. So in that case, when you click on that and you provide the purchase acquisition number, you need not to enter all the details. All the details get automatically populated from the purchase acquisition. You have already entered the acquisition number for which you want to create RFQ. Just enter those that number and automatically all details get populated over there.
Even the quotation deadline will automatically like punch up a quotation deadline that we'll
No, quotation deadline you have to provide.
have to provide.
Automatic RFQ in the sense whatever the details, just like company code, plant, purchase organization, that you need not to fill. That
Yeah, yeah,
automatically
exactly.
get filled.
That's
Deadline you
even
have to specify.
yeah, date we have to.
Means you can say that 90% of the details get automatically filled.
Exactly.
You
It
need
is, I
not
think,
to enter.
it's inbuilt in the database itself that because probably it might have been done before.
Yes, correct. What is the agreement? So once everything is done, once purchase acquisition rollout, you call for RFQ, vendors provide their prices, negotiation is done, everything is done. Then an agreement is signed between an organization and that vendor. So that agreement is nothing but an outline agreement. So once vendors are shortlisted, it enters into an agreement with a certain vendor to supply certain items with certain conditions. And typically, one agreement is reached, a formal contract is signed with the vendor. So it is a long term purchase agreement with the vendor. So we can see when everything gets finalized, we have to provide an agreement to that vendor that for 1 year I'll procure this material from you at so and so price, and this is my condition that we have to verify all the materials, then only we'll receive the payment. So there are some conditions we have to specify. So this is nothing but a outline agreement. So long-term purchasing agreement with the vendor containing terms and conditions regarding the material. Valid up to a certain period of time, can be 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, can be of 6 months, 3 months. So it totally depends on the one who is requesting the RFQ. So it depends on that person only. So it is of two types. One is a contract, another is a scheduling agreement. So there are two types we can have an agreement. One is contract. So it is a long-term outline agreement. We can have two types of contract. If very, very important. Quantity contract and the value contract. Can you explain me the difference? From the name itself, it's very clear. Quantity contract and the value contract.
No, I think I believe it's same. It's a quality contract. It's type of overall value is specified in terms of total quantity.
In which the overall value is defined and the that concerned parties are bound up to a certain amount. But I'll procure 10,000 bags of cement from you. So this is a quantity contract where we
Uh,
specify the quantity, and when we
Quantity
specify the value, this is
contract.
value contract.
Quantity contract is like in short term bulk.
Then it is a value contract. If we specify the quantity, then it becomes a quantity contract. But if we specify the value, the amount for which we are going to procure the material from you, then this will become a value contract. Contract is nothing. This is an agreement, outline agreement, vendor or ordering party. So what is the T code? ME31K. Actually, it depends from it varies from industry to industry. It varies from requirement to requirement.
So that comes under quality quantity contract. Exactly.
Right, right.
And so then value contract?
Value contract, generally
Exactly.
industries deal with the quantity. Now what is scheduling agreement? This is a sub part of this outline agreement, we can say. Then you provide a schedule in the agreement itself, in the month wise, days wise, anyway, in the week wise, in terms of week, anyway, which are procured on predefined dates over a framework of time. Whatever the timeline you have specified, in that timeline you just want to procure it on predefined dates. So that is a part of that will become a scheduling agreement. So what is the T code for that? ME31F. Now what are schedule lines? The same thing. Schedule lines are nothing. This is again a very good example. You might come across the scenario in your organization. I don't know or not what, that you want to procure 100 tons of steel bar. Okay, vendor has also its capacity 20 tons of steel bars I can provide within a complete year. So in that case, what you will do? Your demand is of 100 tons and your vendor is saying that I can provide only 20 tons. So what you will do in that case? I'll go and ask from the other vendors also, right? Because my demand is of 100 tons. So I just provide a quota to three vendors. For the one vendor, I'm saying that okay, you provide me 20 tons. I just pick up another vendor and I just sign an agreement that I need 60 tons from you or 70 tons from you. I just pick up another vendor, third vendor, and I just signed a quota agreement with that I need 10 tons from you. So when I sum up all these things, I find that now my requirement got fulfilled. Now I can have what my demand is. Okay, so this is a quota arrangement. We specify the quota. So it divides the total requirement of material among certain sources of supply. That is the vendors, we can say. What are the sources of supply, and then assign quota to each. So this is a quota arrangement. I think it's quite, from the name itself, it's quite very clear. T code MM03 for creating a quota. So what is a posting period? That you have signed an agreement for a 30 days, right? If for in 30 days you have to provide me 100 tons of steel bars, let us say, and within 30 days that vendor supplied you the your requirement, that is 100 tons of steel bars. So you have defined the period of 30 days. So after 30 days, if you just go into the SAP system and just try to enter that vendor has sent another 50 tons of steel bars, will that system apply? Should the system take 50 tons of input from that particular vendor? So we are having the posting. You already know what the posting means. So posting periods, it means allow you to post and make changes in the documents only in a specific time period. Means suppose you have created any document, and after creation of the document you have to post those documents. So while posting you can make any of the changes. So this is open and close posting period. So what is the T code for that? OB52. So here provide the name of the variant, account details, year. Now this is very important thing, order types, purchase order types. Okay, so what will happen whenever we create any purchase order, we assign some order types along with the purchase order. So that order types will define the functionality of the purchase order. Okay, whether it is consignment, whether it is subcontracting, whether it is pipeline, whether it is third party or stock transfer or service. So SAP ERP has introduced so many procurement types so that it can be implemented efficiently in terms of time and cost. So procurement can be done for various type of goods and services. So start with the purchase order, that is a formal document given to the vendor, and it includes the list of goods and services that are to be procured. Okay, what is procurement type? What is purchase order type? This is very important. Are you getting? Purchase order type. What is the meaning of the purchase order type? Means by checking the purchase order type itself, you can check. Generally, we used to create a purchase order if we want to procure some goods and materials from the vendor, right? But it is not the case that always we have to create a purchase order when we have to procure the goods. Sometimes what happens, we have procure the material for one of the plant, but we are having four plants in total.